This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hello, bright soul. I'm coming to you from a stormy Colorado day. We've been having hailstorms out the wazoo. I don't know what that's about, but thankfully we have shelter. We're inside, and I'm sipping my Zevia green tea, not sponsored. Been drinking it for years. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying and being grateful for things that we get to have in the physical body. I remember years ago I went to this energy healing circle type gathering, and the leader was like, everyone go around and say what you're grateful for. And everyone's like, oh, I'm so grateful for the ability to connect and my deep spiritual practice. And it was ego. I could see right through it. It was total ego. Everyone's trying to come up with something deep. And it got to me, and I said, I'm grateful for my heated seats in my car because it's freezing. And I'm so grateful that I get to have heated seats. And they're all like, oh my gosh. And you know what? I live in a physical body. I am not the body. I am the soul. I came here to enjoy the physical pleasures of the world. That's not the only thing. And it's only one small part of the whole collective and my whole experience. But there's nothing wrong with being grateful for things that you came here to experience. And one of those things is my Zevia green tea. One of those things is my Ninja Creamy, which I'm not sponsored either, but I talked to you guys about it before. I love that thing. I use it every day, and it has just broken up the monotony of protein shakes for me. I have a hard time getting all my protein in because I need to get so much of it in for my goals. And I make an ice cream with it every day. And I'm shivering while eating it because I'm already cold, and I don't care. I sit there and eat it. I put on a coat. It's summer. Spring, summer. I put on a coat and I go outside with my coat on with my Ninja Creamy ice cream and sit by my water feature in my yard and enjoy the birds. And I shiver while eating it. And I don't care. I eat every single bite, and I'm so grateful for it. In any case, I said all that to say I'm grateful for you. And it is okay to actually use physical things in this reality to pull you into the present moment. The more that we can be mindful in this present moment, the more joyous and centered and expanded we can actually be. So that is my intro to what's going on with me today and lately. And let's go into the topic for today. You, as a purposeful, intentional, conscious person who wants to make the world a better place, you're likely a light worker, you're empathic, you could possibly have empathy, deep empathy for others. You want to end suffering, you want to make everyone happy, you're a giver, your heart is expanded, you've possibly been trampled on in the past or taken advantage of because of the light inside you. You are a privilege to be around. You hold a light inside you that lights the world. Not everyone has cultivated that light. We all have access to the light, but it takes work to actually pull it down and to transform yourself and those around you. This path is not an easy one. It is a calling and it is a commitment. And people that don't want to do that work are often drawn to you because they're drawn to the light inside you because it feeds and replenishes them. Although they can get it for themselves, they choose not to do that work. Instead, they want to feed off of you. And I call those people sapsuckers. It may not be the kindest way to describe it. And if that hurts your feelings, click off and go find something that feeds you and resonates with you, because I will just block and delete the comments because I don't have time for sapsuckers. I just don't have time for it. Because over the years, I've learned that access to my energy is a privilege. And I don't say that from an arrogant state because I've been drugged. Life has drugged me on this path. It has been one enormous event after the other. And that is the path of a healer. And that is the path of someone who chooses to walk a more conscious path because you get on an accelerated path. That's why it feels like every time you turn around, the rug is yanked because you stepped on an accelerated path. Most people don't do that. the collective is not on this path. So therefore, what I have noticed is, and this is even in the dating realm, and I wanted to share this with you because it's so important that you recognize when someone is no longer honoring and valuing who you are as a person, and when they no longer deserve access to you. Being in my presence, you get a healing. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. It doesn't matter if I'm ranting. You're going to get a healing. Why? Because I'm a healer and I've done the work to cultivate that energy, and I house it inside me. So even if it's just a regular person, there's an exchange here. So I don't have to sit and do a healing on you. Just by being with me, you get a healing. And when I show up with people in all walks of life, I'm in a centered state where I'm holding space. I'm a safe person to share with. I have a huge container. I can hold a lot. And with that, people feel very safe to share very intimate things, even strangers at the grocery store. I'm just trying to buy milk and then someone wants to throw up their stuff on me. It happens all the time because of what's inside me. It's not me. So it's not from a place of arrogance. It's because of the work I've done to cultivate that light. And with that comes great refinement. It comes great responsibility. It comes great karmic impact with the way that I treat other people. So over the years, I'll get people, I call them sapsuckers because they're attracted to the light, but they can't hold it. So what I mean is they want it, but they're not willing to do what it takes to raise themselves to the vibration to be able to bask in it. So they throw darts at it. So it's like they can sit in the presence for a little bit and then it starts to pull out their stuff and they start realizing, oh my gosh, there's a standard here. In order to sit here with this, I'm going to have to change. I might have to give up some things. I might have to cultivate some discipline. Oh my gosh, I got to be vulnerable. Whoa, I've never felt this feeling before. Ooh, I'm in my heart center. I don't like that. So they get ugly and insecure and angry. And I know you've experienced this. I call it a healing crisis. You'll just be walking around. I know this has happened to you. Maybe you just came out of a blissful meditation, or you've went to a healing retreat, or you're just in the best state. You feel great and you're the most blissful, peaceful person. And you walk around and people just start just biting at you. They pick a fight with you. You know, I used to be married to someone like that because he wasn't on the path, and he would pick fights with me all the time because he was in such an ugly state and he didn't want to raise his vibration. So instead of being inspired by what I was doing and trying to keep up with it, he would then just throw darts at it. And I know you know what I'm talking about. So what I always share is isolate your aura and shield yourself, but also get away from those people because they don't deserve access to your inner realms. The other thing is, I understand that we're vulnerable, heart-centered people, which is a beautiful, beautiful trait. It takes people years. Sometimes they live this whole life without ever being able to be vulnerable and be open with people. And here you are, this loving being who has done the tough work to really meet and accept yourself and be vulnerable and heart-centered and treat people well. A lot of people are afraid of that. They want to numb out. That's why they drink, drug, watch entertaining things that shut your mind off and just feed you information. They don't want to sit and actually go within and change and transform because it's painful. Oh my gosh, it is so painful. And once you're on this path, you can't step off because once you become conscious, you're not unconscious anymore. So it's like, well, too late. I'm on it now, so I got to keep going. And for that very reason, everyone doesn't deserve access to those deep parts of yourself in that vulnerable state because most people can't hold that space for you. So what happens is you go around behaving that way with people who are unqualified to hold that for you. They can't do it, and it hurts your feelings. And then the tendency is to want to turn in. And what I'm saying is guard that part of yourself. I can't sit with people that I meet on the internet, dating and otherwise just regular people. I can't sit across from them and start dropping downloads of this spiritual truths that I've received in meditation. They can't hold that. First of all, I look at their spiritual cord and it's so much smaller than mine. There's no way they can't hold it. So if I was to try to give that to someone, they're not prepared to receive it. And not only are they not prepared to receive it, they wouldn't know what to do with it. It would disrupt so much in their lives. So I have a responsibility. And the other part, and I know this is a hard truth that many of us need to recognize, is that you may be the only person in your family that is walking this path. And you may be the light bearer for all of those around you. And you need to protect that light within inside you and continue to cultivate it and follow your intuition about when it is to share and when it is to not. A lot of times people because we're different, we're odd, you want validation from people. and you want their acceptance. This path is not the one for people to accept. It's just not. This is like the path of the warriors, not the worriers, but the warriors, WARRIOR. We are the light bearers. We go forward and we forge paths. And when someone is leading something and they're doing something brand new, most people throw stones at it. They don't want to do it. People don't want to change. And though other people have walked the path that you and I are walking, you may be the only one within your circle of influence that is doing it. And I know that's been the case for me. And so I'll be called the weird one. And but what happens is someone will experience something and then they come around. But in the beginning, they're always throwing stones at it. I'm always ahead. That's been my path. I'm always ahead. So I'm doing it when it's not acceptable and it's not mainstream. So I'm the one that's getting the darts thrown and the stones thrown and talked about and gossiped about and, and invalidated. I'm that person, and I just keep going. And then years later, they come back and go, oh, you were right about that. And by the time they come to me with that, I already moved on to something else. That's old news. That's old news. And chances are that's been your path too. So the other thing I wanted to share is you can't tell your big dreams to small-minded people. They can't hold it. So you have to learn how to cultivate your light and be the gatekeeper of who gets access to that information and your deep dreams and what's going on with you. Because you don't want to give small people the ammunition to throw darts at you or poo-poo your dreams. And that's kind of what I call it. They don't want to poo-poo your dreams because they can't see it. And it's not that there's anything wrong with them. It's just you're not in alignment. So recently, I've been dating. I've been sharing with you all that I've been dating. I didn't want to date. I got pushed into dating. I wasn't ready. And my mentor pushed me into the dating. He was seeing something that I couldn't see. And he's like, it's time. Just do it. And I didn't want to do it. And part of it is because when I spend time with people, my time is my most valuable resource and asset. And I'm a cup filler. And so when I sit, it doesn't matter who it is, they don't know anything about me. When I sit with someone, I hold space. Very good at holding space. I'm going to be in the present moment with you, and you're getting my energy. I have big energy. I just do from the work that I've done. And so I just really didn't want to have to go and sit and hold everyone's stuff because they can't help it. That's what happens. And without exception. So if someone meets me on the internet, they're just attracted to my physicality. They don't know anything about me. They just know my regular work. They don't know this healing part yet. Although I let them know, hey, I do meditation, I do energy healing, and most of them don't know anything about it because I tend to date regular men. And what I mean by regular men is I like traditional men. I want someone that's fit like me. I want you to be in the gym lifting weights because it's a parallel to what I do. It's important. I want you to take care of your physical body. And I like the traditional men that provide, serve, protect, all of those male qualities that have traditional values. That's what I'm attracted to in the physicality. And what I get with that is manly men, manly men with big muscles and that masculine punch with tiny little spiritual cords. Oh, they're so tiny. And then I come in there with my big energy and they can't handle it. And it's not that they don't want to. I got a complex I shared years ago because I kept going out with these men, and it's like, there goes Susan with her muscled man again. And they would be exhausted after spending time with me. And I got the worst complex about it. And I talked to my mentor about it. I'm like, what's going on? And he goes, if you sit in the sun all day, would you be exhausted? I mean, stop picking these men with no spirituality. And the thing is that they'd be open to it, but they don't cultivate it. So I would pick people like, are you open to spirituality? What's your practice? Do you believe in God? Are you open to energy healing? Like, what's that about? Oh yeah, I believe in it. Cool. So then I'm like, okay, cool. I'll spend some time with you. And, they're drinking it up, but they can't absorb it. And so this time around, I got pushed into dating, and I still like all those things. I can't help it. That's what I like. I'm attracted to strong masculine. I'm a veteran. I like strong masculine men. I don't want the man bun. I get that some people are into that. I'm not. I'm personally not. And that's okay. I can physically choose what I want. And at the same time, I am open. I actually did date someone that had a man bun for a little bit. He had some other things going on. I'm like, oh, it's kind of hard for me. I'm used to like that clean cut look. I can't help it. That's my dad, my brothers, military. I mean, that's what I like, but I'm open. So I'm not closed. I do follow my vibe. In any case, I started looking at their energy centers and picking differently. So this is what I've gotten this time is I will get them in, they're open. A lot of them will say that they're Christians. And so then they'll get very judgy about my work, which makes me want to bust out laughing because they have no idea what I do. The giftings that I have are recognized in the Christian church. They're described differently, but it's the same giftings. And one of my closest friends is a minister, and we have the same giftings. They're very, very similar, and we speak into each other's lives and feed each other. They're just ignorant, and so that's not for me. So what I'll notice is I show up pleasant, vulnerable, kind, respectful, holding space, and I don't isolate my aura anymore because if you're going to spend time with you need to be able to handle it. So I just go in and what's going to happen is going to happen. Let's roll with it. And what I've noticed is they start to take who I am for granted. So they feel better around me and they think it's them. Oh, I feel so good. Oh, wow. I must have really turned a leaf. I feel so good. It's not them. It's me. And I don't mean that in an ugly way. By spending time with me, you get my light. When I start to feel that little taken for granted, that's my indication that it's time for me to send them on their path of healing and cut the cord. I'm not ugly about it, but I don't owe anyone anything. And what I notice is that because they can't hold the light, they start throwing darts at me and my work, which is so fascinating because they have no idea what they're doing. And I know that. And that's my indication. And so I don't continue to try to explain. Well, I don't explain at all because I'm just not going to. I don't need to. It doesn't serve me. And I know then that person doesn't value me as a person. They're just usually after my body, which they won't get because I'm too smart for that. Or they're after something else. It's something in me that they don't want to do the work to align with. So since they can't align with it, they throw darts at it. When that happens, it's time for me to disconnect. And I want to share that with you because it isn't your job to convince, to fix, to bring people up. We all have access to the same light. It's do you want to do the work to get it? God helps people that helps themselves. It's okay to give nuggets. It's okay to lead people. It's okay to drop seeds. But if that person doesn't pick it up and do something with it, that's on them. You did your job. You can now disconnect and go find someone that's going to fill your cup too. Because I'm a cup filler. So the way that I determine this is when I no longer feel good interacting with someone, it's time for me to leave. My work here is done. So I'm not going to leave in an ugly way. I'm just going to simply say, this isn't serving me and you don't understand what you have in front of you. You don't value it and you don't deserve access to it. I'm going to consciously move on. And the same is true with family. You can't share everything with family. Don't share with family what you're doing. If they're not drawn to it, they're not going to receive it. And why give yourself an open invitation to be poked at? I'm just not going to do that. I sow my seeds wisely, and I spend my time and energy with people that fill my cup. And I fill my own cup through my meditation practice, and I'm going to continue to do the things that I do. But if people can't hang, then I just let them go. And you don't have to feel guilty for that. It's not your job. It's not your job to do that for everyone else. Again, we all have access to the same thing. It's do you choose to make the hard decisions and to do the work to get yourself there? And that's what I want to share with you today. I don't want you to feel guilty because you're not doing anything wrong. It's not unloving. It's you respecting your path and the light within you and having healthy boundaries. We always struggle with boundaries in this work. And it ought not be. You deserve to have healthy boundaries. You're amazing, and everyone doesn't deserve access to you. And the other thing is, the more that you begin to consciously cut off the sapsuckers in your life, the more you align with people that are going to fill your cup equally. And that's what we all want and deserve. And that's what we need to keep going on this path that we have chosen. So let's go into a healing. You can uncross your arms and legs and focus on your breathing. so it is, you can come back into your body. I cut some major chords there, so please just drink some extra water and listen to your own intuition about these things, because it is always correct. It's always correct. You can feel it. This work is a feeling-based type of work. It's that inner knowing that we all have access to. And I want to thank you all for your donations. You guys are so sweet, and you really, really, really make my day, and I so appreciate you. And I want to wish you a beautiful week. Take care. Bye-bye.